Two of my neighbors said they saw him back and forth between our homes.
Neighbors off Park Street think this man is homeless.
My husband noticed that he actually came into our yard and was looking into the window.
He's not wearing much clothing.
It didn't look like he had any underpants on because his shorts were hanging low, and you can see his whole backside was almost out.
Shorts were very loose-fitting.
Other concerned neighbors are saying he peeked over fences and that he could be dangerous.
But I noticed that he had scissors in his back pocket.
Neighbors say they've called police, but the man was gone by the time an officer arrived.
This guy may be a guy that's just down on his luck.
Their concern is he might not be in his right mind.
Anybody coming on a property is, without permission and peeping in the windows is not a good thing.
They want something to be done about the man they say is invading their privacy. Crystal Bailey, First Coast News, on your side.